Welcome. We are very grateful for your presence today. We want to have your voices heard. Your feedback will shape the Comprehensive Statewide Needs Assessment, CSNA, for 2026. The CSNA will help shape the future of VR services in Texas. So this is a very important conversation. We are here to talk about vocational rehabilitation, VR services, and employment for people with disabilities. Our conversation will have three goals. Number one, to describe VR services across Texas. Number two, to discuss employment-related needs. And number three, to learn how to improve VR services. We want to know what the VR agency is doing right. We also want to know what the VR agency could do better. This is not a problem-solving session for individual cases. We want to focus on big picture issues. Before we get started, let's go over the format of this meeting. There are 9 questions on our agenda today. We will ask each of them one at a time and invite you to respond. Please take a moment to review the questions if you haven't already. When we begin the discussion, you will see each question one at a time in both English and Spanish. Let's all go over how you can use Zoom to participate today. First, as an attendee, you cannot project video. The only people that should be visible are the RCT facilitators for this town hall meeting. If you're using a computer, laptop, or tablet and would like to speak using your microphone, please click on the icon on the bottom of your screen labeled Raise Hand. If you're using a smartphone, please select the More option on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen and then Raise Hand. The keyboard shortcut to raise or lower your hand is Alt-Y. You only need to raise your hand once. If someone else speaks before you, you will still keep your place in line. When it is your turn, you will receive a notification from the host asking you to unmute your microphone by clicking on Unmute Myself. You will then be able to speak. The keyboard shortcut to mute or unmute yourself is Alt-A. Please speak slowly and clearly so we can create a clear transcript. The timekeeper will let us know when it is time to move on to the next question. You will need to raise your hand each time that you answer a new question. You may follow the facilitator's response on the closed captioning cart. In order to view the closed captioning, please use the closed caption icon on the bottom of your screen. If you would like to respond to a question using your keyboard, please select the Q&A option located at the bottom of your screen to type your comments, as shown here. When it is your turn, the facilitator will read out your comments live. If you would like to respond to the facilitator, please use the Q&A box again. Interpretation is available. Please select the interpretation button below, which opens a new window with the interpretation options available. Those can be resized or moved to a second screen if needed. If you have questions or concerns about services for a specific person or individual case, VR experts are available to chat privately with you. Please use the chat box to let us know that you have a case-related inquiry. If you have additional responses after the meeting ends, you may submit your comments using an online survey. You will receive the survey link in an email following the meeting. Please keep in mind that this option is for town hall questions only and not for personal questions or individual circumstances. Finally, if for some reason there is an interruption in internet service before the meeting ends, you may re-enter the meeting using the same link you received when you registered. Your kind consideration is greatly appreciated. If you have questions about anything that we have just covered, please use the chat box to ask for assistance at any time during the meeting. The next quarterly meeting for the Rehabilitation Council of Texas is May 7th and 8th in the DFW area. We would like to welcome you to attend, whether that be in person or online. For more information, please visit the RCT webpage at the link shown on this slide. If there are no questions, we're going to go ahead and start.
Hello, thank you all for being here. I'm Peggy Schmidt, the current RCT chair.
My name is Emily Hines with TEA. I'm also a member of the RCT.
Before we get started, we have just one correction to the video that you just heard, in that our next RCT quarterly meeting is tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday of this week here in Austin. Thursday we meet 9 to 3, and Friday is about 9 to 12:30. You're welcome to join us both in person or virtually for that meeting as well. We're going to start asking questions here in just a minute. Each person will have 2 minutes to respond, and we will read the question, and then we will start with any respondents that are here in the room with us. If you are online and want to make a comment, please just raise your hand and follow the instructions that were in the video. All right. And with that today, we are here for the CSNA 2026 Town Hall. And first, we'd like to start with talking about your experiences with VR services. If you're in the room, I should have added, if you're in the room, please come forward so that the mic can pick up any comments that you have. Anyone? Oh, okay.
So does the microphone pick up comments right here?
Is she close enough? Yep, you're good from right there.
Okay, perfect. Hi, my name is Sabrina Gonzalez Saucedo. I'm the Director of Public Policy and Advocacy for the ARC of Texas. The ARC of Texas is a statewide nonprofit advocacy organization that is dedicated to promoting the human rights and self-determination of Texans with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We have over 20 local chapters across the state, some of which provide employment services and contract with VR. So earlier this year, our team launched a survey across our statewide network to gather feedback on people's experiences with TWC and the VR program. So we received responses from family members of individuals receiving VR services, and our comments are based on that feedback that we received. A common thing that was reported in our survey was the difficulty in navigating the VR system. A lot of the families that responded reported challenges in connecting to services in a timely manner. And one respondent had shared, quote, "We felt very lost and confused navigating the programs in our area. The process was not easy, even as a social worker in the field of disability. I certainly do not know how someone with a disability and little support would be able to navigate these programs." Families reported not being informed about the full range of services that are available to them and to support their employment goals. Many shared that they learned about VR-funded services through word of mouth from other families and parents, rather than directly from VR staff. Other than that, we also noted a consistent theme across the responses was significant variation in the experiences depending on the VR counselor that was assigned or the region of the state that they were in. So families reported vastly different levels of guidance, responsiveness, and access to services based on who the specific counselor they were assigned to was. And we at the ARC of Texas know that effective VR counselors and services and guidance can be truly life-changing. And so what we had noted was that there is a clear opportunity to ensure that this level of quality and consistency is the norm statewide rather than the exception. Lastly, VR counselor turnover was identified as an issue that impacts getting access to consistent services.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments in the room or online? Okay, there's one comment online if you want to go ahead and.
No one else in the room? Okay. Glenda, if you can unmute your mic.
Good afternoon. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. I am Linda Litzinger, Advocacy and Leadership Director at Texas Parent to Parent. and I want to thank you for hosting this. I'd like to agree with everything that Sabrina said and piggyback onto that. We've had families tell us that they've been told that they can't serve a child who only wants to work in the summertime between high school or college, um, because it needs to be a minimum of 4 months. And if that was the case, and if it has changed, then that needs to be made. It needs to be clarified to the public. We also um, have found, like Sabrina said, it depends on the person who's the counselor. It also depends on the office who is the counselor. Um, we saw a great difference in the office near the college than the office near our house. Um, and then finally, um, it's a well-kept secret that anybody can go to Texas Workforce Solutions and look at the pre-ETS things they have on their monthly calendar to teach you things. And my daughter went and experienced those and really learned a lot there, um, for what it was offering. And then when she finally did have supported employment, um, they sent out people that were expecting you to be very physically capable and cognitively less capable. And if you're the reverse, if you're physically incapable and cognitively fine, then they come out to your college to work with you, and your computer and your books are spread out on every surface, then it's impractical to be giving a reading test and a change making test and then saying we really can't find any jobs for you. There needs to be some level of service for somebody whose path is college and a career, um, and and to really work with them to find somebody to do supported employment that maybe has a college degree and can write and learn acronyms when they're helping to write for you, things like that. Sorry for being so long-winded. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Any others online? Okay, one more.
Okay, Angie, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. My name is Angie Pianzika, and I'm a social worker that has been the majority of my career working with people with disabilities. I also have a physical disability myself, and I just need to piggyback on what Linda just said and also what Sabrina has said. I have found that it's been very difficult to get employment or to get assistance through VR services to find jobs that kind of match my skill set and match the skill set of clients that I worked with previously, specifically because I have an undergraduate degree and a master's degree. So I want to be able to have a job that matches my social work skills, for example, but I need to stay within part-time work because of the income limitations of Medicaid waiver programs. And I don't really feel like they know very much about how that works. And that's really can be devastating for people if they find jobs that they really like and can work, but then it affects um, their overall income and therefore their services. So I know that was a lot, but
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and read the next question. Oh,
Sure.
I'm sorry. I apologize. We have two more online.
That's fine.
Tony, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. So I have a unique perspective, I think, because I'm a former VR counselor. I'm a current contractor with vocational rehabilitation services to provide employment services, job skills training, and such. And I'm also a VR consumer. So I've experienced all aspects of it. And when I became a contractor to provide employment services, I certainly noticed that since the merge with TWC and so forth, that the time frame is just, in my opinion, unreasonably long for someone to receive services, to have a case fully opened and be referred to any providers that may be necessary to assist them. It is just incredibly long. And I saw that with clients. I saw that with the community that I would refer to them. Many would give up in exasperation. And then when I became a consumer myself for a service that I needed, then I definitely saw that the consumers were not exaggerating, that they were not perhaps not following through as I might have suspected. Because as someone with a master's degree myself, someone who's a former VR counselor who understands the process, and on day one had all of the information they needed from me to open a case. It took well over a year, almost 2 years before my case got to a point where I got the service I needed. And my case is still currently open. I got the service I needed, and we're working towards the closure time frame. But I believe that I still would not have received the services I was requesting had I not had the fortitude and the knowledge to contact area managers, regional managers, and the titles might be different now, I realize, but bosses, for lack of a better word. Had I not known how to contact those individuals, I do not believe I would have gotten the service I needed still to this day. And the time frame is something that has to be looked at and has to be fixed.
Thank you for that. I'm going to have to make sure I keep us on track for 2 minutes. So we have 3 more people, I think, online for this question, and then we'll need to move to the next question to make sure that we get all of our questions asked and answered.
Okay, Deshauna, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is Dr. Deshauna Reed. Hopefully you can hear me. And it appears that you can as the sign is continuing. But nonetheless, as mentioned, my name is Dr. Deshauna Reed. I actually am a contracted service provider for TWC and have worked with a number of VR counselors. But prior to that, I have decades of experience in special education, and my last area of focus was on 18 plus transitions. And something that I noticed in working with families and students that were transitioning from high school into adulthood was they were very underinformed about what TWC even did. It was very difficult for them to even get a VR counselor. Many of them did not realize the VR counselors are attached to the high schools, and they were having a very difficult time being able to pinpoint where they even needed to begin. So I did a lot of that assistance and guidance for them, but I was just one teacher. When I became a contracted service provider, I have also found that in working with some VR counselors, they're not quite sure how they can even really bridge that gap between high school transitions and getting individuals the services and supports that they need to kind of help us not have that giant cliff that students tend to fall off of when they graduate from high school, and their parents are then left trying to figure out how to keep them from just graduating to their sofa or their backyard and being able to find meaningful employment or educational options. And so, speaking as a service provider and additionally as a sibling to an individual with profound autism, it is really important that there is a much better and more concerted effort between the connection of agencies and LEAs in order to be able to help parents and families better connect with appropriate VR counselors, find service providers like me, so that they can get the appropriate supports and services, as well as being informed about what those things are. The VR offers a great many number of services and supports, but parents are usually unaware of what those things are. Individuals are confused about what it is that they should even be receiving in terms of services. And VR counselors also, some, not all, rely on us service providers that have a wealth of experience working with individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities on what services are actually appropriate for that person, which then prolongs them actually being able to complete those services and move on to what it is that they want for their future.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. Next.
Okay, Amy?
Hi. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, you have 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Amy Lutzinger, and I work for Texas Parent to Parent as our policy lead. And you already heard Linda Lutzinger tell some of my story, but I just wanted to add a little bit about my experience as a teen trying to get employment supports. This was prior to TWC taking over disability supports for employment. But I called in for intake, and the person who answered the phone stated that I would not be eligible for employment supports because I utilized attendant care services and attendants were not reliable, and therefore I couldn't be a reliable employee. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, that I know we've come a long way from that, but we still got a long way to go, and we really don't want to go backwards.
Thank you. One more online and then one in the room, I think.
Okay. Is it Lila? Lila, if you can unmute yourself if you'd like to speak. I see you're unmuted, but we can't hear. Okay, maybe we can come back to her.
Sure, okay. And the gentleman in the room?
I do have a 2-minute time limit, correct?
Yes.
I am representing 2 different roles, so may I have 2 minutes for each role? Would that be okay?
I think we need to stay at one 2-minute slot.
Okay, understood.
And we'll just start now.
Okay, it is quite important, and I've got this written out for the interpreter to read from the Texas Deaf Chamber, item 1, to the Rehabilitation Council of Texas. My name is Jason Shaw with Texas Deaf Chamber of Commerce. As mentioned during public comments from one of the previous RCT meetings, challenges with self-employment support for customers as well as VR staff were noted. We would like to follow up on this at the next RCT meeting to see where things stand. Item 2, we have several deaf-owned vendors who provide job coaching and placement services for VR. They are concerned with the potential cuts of these services, which is vital not only for the deaf population, but the overall disability community. And there are additionally 2 announcements. The Texas Deaf Chamber of Commerce and SCORE, S-C-O-R-E, Austin, are holding a hybrid roundtable on February 12th to discuss what SCORE does and the challenges with providing services to the deaf community. Last announcement, Texas Deaf Chamber is getting the first of its kind registered apprenticeship, which is designed for the deaf and hard of hearing community. We are forming a consortium with the legal assistance of Kirkland and Ellis to be called Texas Joint Workforce Development for the Deaf.
Okay, thank you.
Did I meet my 2-minute requirement?
You did it. Thank you. Thank you.
Fabulous.
Okay, Emily, you want to read question 2?
Okay, so question number 2 for everybody. How knowledgeable are VR staff about local jobs, labor market information, such as career pathways, in-demand skills, and high-growth industries in your areas?
Remember to raise your hand if you'd like to speak.
I might have an answer for that one.
Mentorship program.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions in the room?
2 on.
Okay, we have 2 online. Go ahead.
Mary, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Mary Witherspoon. I have had a VR case for 14 months now, and I have never had a conversation with my VR counselor about potential opportunities in the area. So that's the answer to that question.
Okay, thank you, Mary.
Okay, and then we have Matthew. If you can unmute yourself.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, Matthew. Oh, Matthew, we can't hear you.
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, there you are. Okay, go ahead.
In any event, I was saying I'm a consumer. I'm currently enrolled in the Work for Texas Workforce Commission job placement, and I have been prior in the past. The thing I'm trying to address is the fact that the time it's taken for me to get to get job placement has been overtly it's been way overdone. Like, I just now recently spoke to my counselor, and that took me 3 months, and now it's taking me another 3 months to get into to another provider to get a resume and what have you. And the thing is that I want to work now. I have the ability to work now. People like us, we want to work now. The wait times are over excessive, and considering all the political turmoil we hear from people talking about how we don't have jobs and we're a burden in that way, it needs to be changed. Something needs to be done about the time that it takes to get placement. The first time I was in the system, I didn't get placed. I found my own job, and it did not work out. And I need this system to work for me and not against me. And I appreciate everything that people are doing to make it better, but there's still so much that needs to be done that we can do. We need people to act as spokespeople for us that have disabilities, and we need to speak as people with disabilities to those that are helping us our rights. Thank you all. Y'all take care.
All right, thank you. And do we have one more comment in the room? Okay.
I think that I'm far enough or close enough. This is one of my customers. My name is Jan Triplett. I am a provider for the self-support, self-employment program. I have actually known Jason and his business 13 years. There is a problem for me with my customers because they need to work before they can get the support that they need and they deserve from the agency. And consequently, sometimes a counselor thinks, well, they took a job instead of waiting to get the self-support that they should have waited to get. But it can take a year, 3 years, 14 years, and if you're an artist, you're really lucky if you get it at all. But for Jason, he was in business. I knew him 13 years ago. He stopped and took a job. He's back again in business. He has this great idea. And now we are having to deal with counselors who feel that his business was a failure. It wasn't a failure. He did what he had to do to keep body and soul together. And I appreciate the efforts of disability rights and my friend JT and all the people who are here. There are a lot of people who will not find a job, but they can find and start a business if we get counselors to understand that a business is not a job. It's something different, and it contributes to the tax base. It creates new opportunities for people. And it is very important to every community, not just where they are. It's the whole state of Texas and the whole United States. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other responses for question number 2? Okay, then we will move on to question number 3. How knowledgeable are VR staff about social service benefits and work incentives, such as SSI, SSDI, Ticket to Work, and Medicaid waivers? I see one in the room. Yep, go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. So I'll speak a little bit to particularly VR clients that are also Medicaid waiver recipients. I think that there's widespread confusion among both VR staff at TWC and staff at HHSC, providers that are responsible for providing Medicaid waiver services, about how to provide employment services to these clients. I think that VR clients often struggle to understand how working is going to impact their benefits for very good reason. And so this is a huge barrier to pursuing employment. Benefits counseling is a service that can assist people to understand on a one-on-one basis how their benefits are going to be impacted, which can be crucial in bridging that hump. But outside of that, it can be really difficult to clarify how employment services are supposed to be initiated for someone who currently has a Medicaid waiver. And there is a document, so TWC does have the sequencing of services chart that was developed that is aimed at really a decision tree to see how employment services are initiated and how they continue. But in practice, there's a lot of gaps in that coordination for Medicaid waiver recipients to have that smooth handoff from VR into employment services through their Medicaid waiver.
Thank you. Any other questions in the room? Otherwise, we have one question online. Go ahead.
Okay, Amy, go ahead and unmute yourself.
I just wanted to add to the other speaker in this conversation. I am a recipient of the class Medicaid waiver, and I was speaking to my VR counselor, my TWC VR counselor, about how supported employment in VR and supported employment in the waiver work together. And he turns to me and he says, "What's a Medicaid waiver?" And he was a wheelchair user on top of that. So I remember being really confused that a VR counselor who supposedly looks like he knows what it's like to be somebody who depends on others for some kind of help, even if they don't use a Medicaid waiver, and might be interested to know what a Medicaid waiver is for their clients. So I spent the better part of the rest of the appointment educating him, because that's what I do professionally anyway, but that shouldn't be up to the TWCVR clients to do. Counselors should already know about these things and how the two programs work together, because there's supposed to be transition communication between them when it comes to VR programs versus waiver programs, both having supported employment. Anyway, that's all I wanted to add.
All right, thank you. Any other comments online or in the room? Okay, we will move on now to question number 4.
Yeah, so now we're going to talk about VR services necessary for people with disabilities. Our program service individuals with a variety of disabilities, including deaf and hard of hearing, blind or visually impaired, neurodevelopmental disabilities, physical movement, mobility difficulties or neurological impairments, and psychological disabilities or mental health disorders. What are employment-related needs of people with disabilities, and how can VR programs better meet those needs?
Okay, I see we have one question in the room. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Twitty McCoy. I am with for the Future Consulting Group. We are a TWC contractor, and we provide services throughout the state of Texas. And we also service those students with disabilities as well. Just want to say that a particular area of need that when working with our customers is specifically geared towards those young students in high school, as well as young adults and those that are transitioning to post-secondary education. A lot of those parents, after receiving services, they're like, what's next? They have no idea what are the next steps they should take to actually get those students to actually, I guess I want to say, showcase those skills that they have learned, right? And those skills are things such as self-advocacy, how to get into the workplace and actually practice self-advocacy. How do they actually get out there and show that they have career readiness skills if they don't have those opportunities for employment? And I think that's one of the huge needs of that population.
Okay, thank you. Do we have one more in the room? 2 more in the room? Okay.
I apologize. I'm Jan Triplett with the Business Success Center. I am a provider for self-employment. My issue that I have with my customers is their ability to actually do what's required from the agency in order to get support. They are required to fill out forms, which are important. It helps them to then create a business plan and financial projections with my help and to really design how the business is going to work. In order to do that, it has to be done on a computer. Many of my clients are lucky if they have a flip phone, and so I'm always going back to counselors who are very well-intentioned, but somehow nobody checks at the beginning to make sure that they have the equipment and access to the internet and access to a VR office, because I work throughout the state, where they can actually do what is required. So it gets delayed considerably. The same is true with problems with benefits, because for them, the benefits comes at the middle of the process instead of at the beginning. And so I was told it can take a month or 2 months. So we're working through the program. We're trying to get the equipment so that they can fill out the forms. We're trying to find all of this out. And then the benefits, we're told that they're going to be pulled away, not to finish the plan, but to get the benefits information, which is very important. It's just at the wrong point. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
For a need that we see is particularly, in general, the employment needs of people with disabilities are going to include individualized career exploration, work-based learning opportunities, job placement supports, and more to really be successful in competitive integrated employment. And many individuals, particularly those with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and those with higher support needs require well-trained staff and coordinated services to achieve those meaningful employment outcomes. And so this is definitely a population that we think can use some higher coordination.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Myself, as a customer, my name is Jason Shaw. I have already experienced multiple attempts at self-employment support, as mentioned previously, and I would like to add the following. First, the forms that are used for self-employment process appear to be duplicative, and the business plan template, which is used for VR, is not considered bankable by my mentors at SCORE, S-C-O-R-E, as well as with the SBDC. I have to create a different business plan that can be used outside of VR for funding requests with banks. Additionally, I would recommend that VR as an agency reviews these forms and makes changes by working with organizations such as SCORE to make it less duplicative and more useful for both inside and outside of the VR system for customers like myself. It would be very beneficial for everyone, a win-win.
Thank you. Okay.
If I may add, if this is about taxpayer money versus private donors, that's fine. Of course, we understand financial integrity when it comes to these operations.
Okay, thank you. And online?
We have 5 hands raised online. First one is Christina. You can go ahead and unmute yourself. Christina, can you unmute yourself?
Are you all able to hear me?
Now we can, yes.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. So I am the Assistant Executive Director for a nonprofit organization out of Texas that we do provide employment services to blind and visually impaired individuals nationwide, as well as in Texas. We do not charge for our services or anything like that, but we do have some connections and collaborations that we would like with TWC. And where we find a big gap in the process would be with you all having relationships with employers themselves. If we could find ways to connect those employers to actual inclusivity trainings and things like that to make them better opportunities for disabled individuals. It's a lot for us to go out and try to, speak on their behalf, but if those trainings came from you all or linked those opportunities together with organizations who could provide those trainings, it may open up more opportunities for those employers to be linked with proper individuals who are able to be employed. It'll help bridge the gap.
Okay, thank you. Next, for the person online.
Linda, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, sorry. I just put it in the chat because I have to go to a 1:15 meeting, and I will try to find a way to send you the rest of your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lance, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you. Lance Foss speaking. What I wanted to bring up was prescriptions and provision for pharmacy, a medical provider. I'm going out of order here. Okay. there are many neurological, neuromuscular, addiction, pain management, mental health, mood issues, and so on that can be effectively treated with prescription drugs. And in some cases, that's the major and perhaps the only treatment available for those individuals uh, being living independently and then getting employed also. So I would like to hear more about those provisions and helping those kind of people uh, get uh, uh, get linked with those types of treatments expeditiously, affordably, so one that they can get employment and for many maintain employment. Plus, also any support groups to help them manage their condition and keep their job, maintain the prescriptions, and if it's something that can be weaned off of or changed as perhaps their conditions improve, helping them with that. But this is something I don't hear enough of is medical treatment generally and then pharmaceuticals in particular. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next online.
Okay, and the last one we have is Nancy. If you can go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, thank you. It's Nancy Crowther in Austin, and I'm just reminiscing about my days with TRC and how they cross-trained. They knew all the disabilities, how to work with them because they spent a lot of time with the variety and they weren't siloed into different groups. I'm hearing a lot of siloing within the discussion here. The other thing is we had peer programs. We had people that transitioned out of high school that didn't have a clue. And so I think it needs to start in the transitional programs at the high schools, but also have the counselors and the staff sit in on some of those trainings because each person is unique, their disability is unique, their functional needs are unique to them. Not everything fits one person. So if there's any way to keep that in mind, because it helped me. I had a job for 25 years until I retired, which is amazing. And I have a neuromuscular disease. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments online? Okay, then we will move on to question number 5. The VR program offers a wide range of services, including academic and occupational or vocational training, disability and independent living skills training, employment services, and pre-employment transition services for students. What services are meeting the needs of people with disabilities, and how can the VR program improve these services? Go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
Yeah. One service that is effectively meeting the needs of people with disabilities, and particularly for those with intellectual and developmental disabilities, is support from VR to participate in post-secondary education programs that are designed for students with intellectual and developmental disabilities. These programs are highly effective in preparing students with the skills that they need for competitive integrated employment through career exploration, work-based learning, and connections to real employment opportunities. And they demonstrate very strong outcomes in job placement and retention. So the VR program can improve and expand upon the impact of this service by increasing support for these post-secondary pathways and reducing barriers to access to them.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions in the room?
answer?
Any other answers in the room? I'm sorry, yes, thank you. Any other answers in the room?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi again, everyone. So I would say a services that has been beneficial is the pre-employment transition services, especially at the high school level. I think it's most effective, or it has been proven right to be most effective, especially through our agency as a provider, if those actually transition services are scaffolded, right? Ninth graders receiving self-advocacy and building on self-advocacy and ramping it up to job and career exploration on a 10th grade level, and going from that 10th grade level and going to the 11th grade level and looking at job and career exploration. So that early on exposure to those students have been extremely beneficial to those students in finding out what's next after high school, whether that is actually post-secondary, right, or just entering the workforce. And so that has been a really big area in regards to benefits to the clients, and making sure that who provides that services is actually qualified. But that's a different question you guys have.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Do I see another question in the room?
A comment, if I may. I think the training program for people, I'm Jan Triplett, Business Success Center, a provider. The training programs for people seeking employment seems to work very well. Many of my customers who are building businesses, they're not starting a business, they want to add to it, they want to increase their sustainability, to not have to be reliant on government benefits, and they are seeking training to improve those skills and abilities. That has been a very difficult issue. I go back to the days of DARS, and we knew that in DARS there was a separate pocket for training, and we could usually get some training for those business owners. It's very difficult now, and now if they do training, they're pulled out of the self-employment program, they have to complete the training, and then they have to come back. So training is important for people who are interested in self-employment as well, and I would encourage there to be more emphasis on helping people who want to get to closure faster, build more successful businesses, create more jobs, add more taxes, and get some training. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, online?
We don't have any hands raised, but I do have one that's written her question. She says, my question is about post-secondary education. What are the services offered for that? There is never a clear answer for what you can be provided for education options. I feel like it should be more transparent.
Okay, thank you. All right, oh, and one more answer in the room, I see. Oh, no, did you have?
It's just a comment.
Okay, yep. Go ahead. Yep.
I would like to share what has been said previously about self-advocacy skills in other agencies. Texas Department of Health and Human Services, specifically Deaf and Hard of Hearing Services, does have self-advocacy services. They are resourced assistant specialists, and those contractors are able to help with that type of employment skill of self-advocacy. I'm not sure if VR is able to make those referrals to Deaf and Hard of Hearing Services.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Question, and we're getting real close to our 1:30 mark, but we're getting great participation, and so we're going to keep going to get through our questions. Go ahead with question number 6.
Okay, so now let's talk about providers of VR services. Please describe your experiences working with VR service providers, and what has been your experience with the availability, quality, and variety of providers in your area.
All right, any comments in the room? All right, go ahead.
I'll acknowledge that what we've heard from a lot of families is just a limited availability of service providers in their area. And so often there's not a pool of different providers that they can choose from. They're usually limited to one or two providers that are going to be providing the service that they're seeking to meet their employment goal. And in practice, that can be very limiting for a client, particularly for those that need as I mentioned, an example of a group of folks with IDD that have higher levels of support needs that can entail some really specific and specialized training. And sometimes that provided service that is available falls short of meeting that particular need.
Okay, thank you. Okay, online?
2 online, and I'm going to start with Mary. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Mary Witherspoon. Speaking just from my case in particular, I have requested VR services specifically because I need to transition from training in the computer using magnification to I need to advance to screen reader capabilities because my eyesight continues to decline. Again, I've had my case for 14 months. I have a computer that was delivered to my house, but no one connected the monitor to it, and I can't see the laptop screen to even turn it on. I have not been provided any kind of training services because I'm told that there's just such a high demand in the area. So that is my experience with qualified available services. So I'm not sure if the disconnect is in the VR process or if it's actual providers. But I am not seeing any results. Thank you for the time.
All right, thank you.
We have one more, Lana. However, she is needing to open her camera, and we're not allowed to open cameras for the public. So I am going to allow you to speak if you would like to. So if you'd like to unmute your mic and speak. If not, please type your answer to the question in the chat or the Q&A, and we will make sure that that is documented. Okay.
Okay. All right, then we'll move on to question number 7. How can the VR program improve the way it recruits, trains, and supports service providers to deliver high quality services? Okay, yep, go ahead, in the room.
So this will basically be an extension off of the other question I was addressing. So again, Twitty McCoy for the Future Consulting Group. I think a practical way to have quality service providers in different areas is to allow more in-person presentations. Looking at the quality of work that the actual providers have to offer, I think would be super beneficial to those who are in the decision-making process in regards to services, whether that's employment services, whether that is pre-ed services. I just want to shift focus to pre-ed services, for example. If you are going to choose a provider in pre-ed services, do more in-person presentations, looking at the work that the provider actually have to offer, right? Making sure that that provider is able to provide differentiation instructions, scaffolding, multi-tiered lessons to those learners that have disability and that are also neurodivergent learners. I think that would be mostly beneficial. And having a panel, not just one person in making that decision, but multiple people on the director's level, on the manager level, on the supervisor level, on the counselor level. I think that would be super beneficial in having the decision-making process into quality service for a provider.
Okay, thank you. Any questions online or answers online?
I do not see any hands raised.
Okay, all right, then we will move to part 4, number 8.
The VR program collaborates with businesses to employ VR customers. How can the VR program improve the way it engages and works with employers to create more quality employment opportunities for customers?
Okay.
The Texas Workforce Commission has a hire ability program. They have events occasionally. They're good events. Employees, businesses usually can reach out to the community through those.
I would recommend that they collaborate and work with TWC and VR.
Okay. Thank you.
Again, it's called hire ability.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any answers or comments online?
No hands are raised.
Okay, all right. Well, then, lastly, we will discuss possible gaps and remaining challenges in VR services. And the question is, what Texans are missing out on VR services, and what unmet needs do they have? Yep, go ahead.
I think that Texans that are currently earning sub-minimum wage are missing out on the full potential of VR services. We were really dismayed to hear that these referrals are happening younger and younger. We were told about North Texas School District that was referring about 40 students directly leaving high school into a sub-minimum wage 14C sheltered workshop. And that was something that was really shocking for us to learn. And I think that there's real opportunity, and to VR's credit, the project that they've been able to engage with UNT-Wise to be able to really targetedly find clients that are currently in a sheltered workshop and transition out into competitive integrated employment has already seen really great success. And further work of targeting this population of people that could be successful in competitive integrated employment and that transition, and also prevention in really sharing services to prevent sheltered work in the first place would be a really great place to start.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments in the room or online?
I don't see any hands raised online. Oh, we just got one.
Okay.
Lance, go ahead.
May I address the previous question about employer relations? I had a late hand up and.
Yes, go ahead. Yep, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. All right. As a member of the public, okay, this is strictly from a public perspective, my suggestion would be to fully leverage placements we have made in that someone is successfully working there with a disability and using that as to further develop the relationship and get other people hired. So that's just my comment as a member of the public. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other last minute hands on question number 9? Okay. Well, thank you all so much for your time and your input today. We appreciate it. And there will be a survey that will be sent out afterwards. If you want to provide any additional information, you may do so that way as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.